Hi, this is Katie with a quick introduction to the Promethean board, primarily the ActivInspire software that works along with it. So we have a Promethean board in room 217, and it is comparable to a smart board but has some more interactive features, and the biggest difference I think is the wealth of resources on the Promethean Planet website which work with it. Lots of great things there. So the first thing I want to mention is that you may want to calibrate your whiteboard, which you can do just by right-clicking on your notification area. I am not currently connected to the whiteboard, so I can't demonstrate that, but that just makes sure that when you have the pen on the board, that it's actually going to be clicking on the right thing. So basically, ActivInspire software may look a little bit like PowerPoint. It creates flip charts that include pages, but it's much more interactive, and it isn't as linear as PowerPoint, but it certainly does have some of the same features. And as you can see from this dashboard, this opens up as soon as you open the ActivInspire software, that you can easily import from PowerPoint or from Smart Notebook, as a matter of fact. And so you can get to the calibration also from Configure on this dashboard, and you can also choose from one of two looks when you're using ActivInspire. There's primary look and feel, which is intended for young children. We're using the studio look and feel, which is intended for older people and adults. I mean, older children and adults. So anyway, what you basically do is use the active pen on the whiteboard, and it acts as a mouse. And so if you're not using ActivInspire software, you can just use the pen to navigate around and click on things, and the button on the top acts as a right mouse button. And it takes a little getting used to as far as how to hold the pen exactly right to be most effective, and how hard to press, which is a little harder than I thought, so it doesn't take long to get used to, but it'll be a good chance for you to try it so you know how it feels, and the students certainly will get comfortable very quickly, I'm sure, as they use it. So the main modes that you will be working in ActivInspire software, creating your flip charts, are the presentation mode and design mode. And when you're doing just the basics, it doesn't make any difference which mode you're in. But when you start adding some actions, then you might find the need to be in design mode. So, for example, when you have an action on a page, and let's go ahead and put an action on the page. We'll talk about this action browser in a minute, but let's just drag and drop any one of these items to the page. So this is just a quick way, for example, to get the pen tool. And right now I'm in design mode, but if I wasn't, then this would actually, when I click my mouse, change me to the pen tool. So now that I could actually write on the board, that's called annotating. But if I wanted to edit this pen, move it to a different place, whatever, I can't do that in presentation mode because it just wants to switch to the pen tool, perform the action that's been assigned to it. So that's where the design mode comes into play, is it allows me now, I can switch tools and I can move this and make it, perform some other action or whatever. Okay, so the next thing is to take a look at those different browsers. So we just took a look at the action browser, and the action browser allows you to create, as I said, drag and drop, which is really easy. Just drag it and drop it on the page, or if you choose an object on your page, you can go to the current selection tab and apply any kind of action to that. So if I want this to actually open up the page browser when someone clicks on it, then I can just simply choose page browser here and apply changes. And then when I am not in design mode, I get the blue arrow indicating there's an action applied to it, and that would take me to the page browser. And that's what I was on already. Or actually, no, it wasn't. I was on the action browser. So these other browsers are all really important, except for the last one, which we will not use because we don't have any of those handheld devices. But the page browser, of course, to scroll and move throughout the pages. The resource browser, which is the easiest way to bring items onto your page, just simply drag and drop. So this is a photo And I'm going to make that a little bit smaller here. But there's all kinds of sounds that you can add to the page. There's resource packs are the ones that I've downloaded from Promethean Planet, which is a really easy thing to do. Some of these came with ActivInspire, such as grids. If you're going to be working with graph paper or something like that, you can make that your background. Ooh, that's ugly. Let's undo that. Also under activities, there are all kinds of really cool pre-created slides with really sometimes very interactive things on them. So that's worth looking at. And then those also can just be dragged and dropped on the page. So that's the resource browser. And the next one is the object browser with layers, and this is a very simple page with everything on the middle layer. But if you wanted to create interactive things where students were dragging words out of a treasure chest or items out of a picnic basket or a rabbit out of a hat, then you would need to put things on different layers so that they would not show up at first until a student dragged it out. So that gives you a lot of a good visual of how things are laid out on the page so you can get the effect you want. The page notes section, very useful way to give notes to someone else who might be viewing your or using your flip chart, or notes to yourself. And this is very easy. Just type in here, and then down at the bottom you can turn on a toolbar if you want to adjust the formatting of what you've typed up here in your notes. And the property browser is probably the most powerful. It allows you to do all kinds of different things depending on what you have selected. So when I select this particular image, then these are all the different options that I have to work with. So just one example is, like, if I wanted to get rid of this white background here, I could simply just change that transparent color to white, and everything that's white becomes transparent. So that worked really well with that particular image. Doesn't always work so cleanly, but that just gives you an idea of one of the things you can do. But there's really a ton of powerful and interactive things you can do with this, such as restricting movements so that something can't be moved except in a certain direction. You can make a container so that a student could put certain words, drop it in the right container, and if it's not the right answer, then it will not accept it. And so lots of powerful things you can do with that. And then we've already taken a look at the action browser. So those are really important things to get used to. The other thing that you will need to be comfortable with is using the toolbar. And the toolbar is full of wonderful tools. You can customize this in many ways using file settings, and that allows you to change the default tool, for example, add additional tools to the toolbar, change where the toolbar appears on the screen, and those kinds of things. So in future lessons I will show you how to use some of these exciting tools. So this is your basic introduction to using the interactive whiteboard Promethean.